One of the things I love about Batman the Animated Series is that it's packed with tragic villains, but none quite like Harley Quinn. She was caught in a toxic love masquerading as a punchline. She's funny, she's enchanting, she's also completely delusional. I can understand why some people dismiss her because she fails to see how toxic her relationship with the Joker is, but in her defense, relationships are complex. And there are very real reasons why someone might stay in a relationship that is pure poison. But before I get to that and how it relates to Harley, let's first talk about the history of Harley Quinn, as seen in Batman the Animated Series and its follow-up show, The New Batman Adventures. Harley Quinn was created by writer Paul Dini and artist Bruce Timm as a one-and-done side character for an episode of BTAS. Dini had been inspired by the 1960s Batman show, where the villains often had an attractive mole type that followed them around, and he wanted to explore that idea in their show. For the overall look and personality, Dini took inspiration from his college friend Arlene Sorkin, who starred in the soap opera Days of Our Lives. In particular, he referenced one episode that had a dream sequence where her character appeared as a jester. Dini provided a rough sketch of what he wanted this character to look like and presented it to Bruce Timm, who immediately turned his nose up at it, saying, "I can fix this." He took the basic concept and gave it his own personal touch, fully embracing the jester theme. When the time came to cast her role, Dini suggested that Sorkin should get the job, given that she was the partial inspiration for the character, and he was right, because she blew everyone away with her performance. It's important to note that they didn't intend for Harley Quinn to become a significant figure. In fact, they didn't plan on using her again after Joker's favour. According to Mark Hamill, the original draft of the script simply referred to her as Joker's henchwench. But it's a testament to the late Arlene Sorkin plus the writing of Paul Dini and Bruce Timm's visuals that audiences' eyes and ears were drawn to her whenever she appeared on screen. Now, because she wasn't intended to be a recurring character, her early role in the series was a bit ambiguous. Part fangirl, there to fluff the Joker's ego, part employee, and sort of maybe potentially his girlfriend. It was all a bit murky. In her earlier appearances, she referred to the Joker as her boss, making it seem like her services were entirely transactional. But by the time of her third appearance in the episode Harley and Ivy, it was clear that the pair were in a romantic relationship. It's interesting to note that in her first appearance, Harley is Joker's #1 henchperson, and he treats her with respect. Why, he even flew in Charlie Collins from Ohio just to open a door for her. But by her second appearance in The Laughing Fish, we can see the abuse start to creep in. Joker forced Harley to eat his Jokerfish on camera in front of the world, despite, or potentially because, the fact that she openly states that she doesn't like fish. Similarly, he demeans her later on when he dumps a massive fish head costume over her without her consent. While we can't see her expression, the eyes peering from the darkness look less than impressed. By this point, she's someone he mocks and humiliates purely for his own amusement. By the time of Harley and Ivy, as the ambiguity around their relationship completely cleared up, the mistreatment escalated. The core premise of the episode is that after a botched robbery, the Joker kicks Harley Quinn out, forcing her to go off on a crime spree with her new friend, Poison Ivy. While the show couldn't show physical violence towards her, Joker's verbal cruelty and looming menace made the toxic dynamic unmistakable. It's very clear that this is an abusive relationship, and as much as Harley initially plans to prove him wrong about her, she almost immediately crumbles. Harley doubts her own abilities because Joker told her so. Yet we see that she is a capable thief. She gracefully evades the security lasers and was primed to steal the Harlequin diamond all by herself. Were it not for the fact that Poison Ivy had independently picked the same evening to also rob the museum. For as much as Harley's escapades with Ivy elevate her and give her confidence, during her downtime she still misses the Joker. And it's funny because at the same time, Joker starts to wonder where she's gone. He'd kicked her out before, but she always came back. What's different this time? And he's not the only one to become unhappy with Harley. Ivy is incredulous as she sees Harley pining for the Joker, and perhaps there are some viewers that feel the same way. I understand the reaction, but I don't think it's helpful for Ivy to mockingly quote her and call her a doormat. That's not to say that Poison Ivy is to blame for Harley going back to the Joker, but the mockery certainly didn't help. When the Joker comes calling, we all know that he isn't there because he loves Harley. He wants to steal from her. Everyone can see it, except for Harley, until it's too late. There's also a part of him that doesn't like her succeeding on her own. He likes that she's so dependent on him for validation. It feeds his ego. Her whole identity as a jester is intrinsically tied into his own, and having her go off and do her own thing is utterly incomprehensible to him. Despite this betrayal, his attempt at murdering her friend and accidentally blowing up their home, Harley goes back to him by the episode's end. We didn't see the origin of Harley Quinn and her obsession with the Joker until December of 1993, when Bruce Timm and Paul Dini released a standalone comic, Batman Adventures: Mad Love. This comic would later go on to be adapted as an episode of the new Batman Adventures in January of 1999. So, if you didn't read the tie-in comics, you had a long wait to find out more. While Mad Love is primarily about Harley Quinn's attempt at getting rid of Batman so that the Joker would have more time for her in their relationship, it also shows us how the Joker warped Harleen Quinzel and made her become devoted to him. His tactics are pretty typical of abusers. First, he psychologically manipulated her by showering her with compliments and attention, a tactic known as love bombing. On her first day as a doctor at Arkham, Joker demonstrated his power by sneaking a rose into her office, asking her to come see him sometime. When she doesn't immediately report the incident, he knows he has a chance at sinking his hooks into her. He does this by appealing to her ego, saying that he felt like she was trustworthy and that he could reveal his secrets to her. Harleen Quinzel was an ambitious psychologist. While the comic book original stated that she slept her way to top grades, this was dropped from the animated adaptation. Sure, the censors wouldn't allow that to be on screen, but I think it's a more powerful display of the Joker's cunning and manipulation that he was able to run rings around a highly qualified, if somewhat inexperienced doctor, rather than a woman that was just out of her depth. It's during these sessions that the Joker builds a bond with her by claiming that behind his smile, he's really just a wounded little boy longing for affection from his brute of a father. He recounts how he tried to change his father through humour, but all he got for his efforts was a beating and an extended stay in the hospital. From here, he framed himself as a perennial victim, be that at the hands of his father, Batman, or just the world in general. All he needed was for someone to understand him and to show him love. It was a load of hooey, crafted to win her sympathy and pull her closer. After an indeterminable amount of time, their roles flip. Harleen lies on the analyst's couch and the Joker's the one asking questions, notepad in hand. The patient had become the puppeteer. Eventually, the Joker escaped from Arkham, but was brought back by Batman, battered and bruised. At this point, Harleen drops all pretense and had an unprofessional emotional outburst, enraged at the sight of the Joker, battered black and blue by Batman. This is the precise moment that Dr. Harleen Quinzel went off the deep end and became Harley Quinn. Once she helped Joker escape again, they went official with their relationship. While Harley had dreams of starting a family and growing old together, to Joker, Harley was just a tool, something to pull out of his box of tricks when he needed her. In order to keep her in line, Joker chipped away at her confidence, convincing her that she was worthless or to blame for every failure. He was a master gaslighter, making Harley question her reality. There's plenty to suggest that Harley is actually a very capable criminal. She broke Joker out of Arkham with relative ease, and in Harley and Ivy she came this close to stealing the Harlequin diamond without alerting the authorities. But because of his psychological manipulation, she believes that she is worthless and deserves the abuse she receives. Case in point, when the Joker pushes her out of a window in Mad Love, Harley says that it was her fault because she didn't get the joke. To be clear, the only person to blame for the Joker's violent outbursts is the Joker himself. There are a whole host of other real-world tactics that the Joker uses to keep Harley under his control. Probably the most common one is trauma bonding, a cycle of abuse that is immediately followed up by positive behaviour. Think about how he sent a rose to Harley's cell in Arkham after he pushed her out of that window. Whenever the Joker harms Harley, he's quick to follow up with affection to really deepen the emotional bond, dangling the possibility of change. Similarly, he isolates her, so there's no one around to question his behaviour. Think back to his reaction to learning that Harley had become a successful thief with Poison Ivy. One of the first things he did when he found them was to try to kill Ivy with his Joker toxin. In some ways, Ivy is Harley's opposite, independent, confident and purposeful. Harley, meanwhile, is erratic, insecure and dependent. Her friendship with Harley is a threat to the Joker's control. The end result of this abuse is a woman who ultimately was ensnared by the Joker, yet despite everything she still loved him. She doesn't focus on the beatings, the verbal beration, or the casual cruelty. She remembers who he used to be, that sad little boy hiding behind a rictus grin. She believes he'll get better with time, and that glimmer of hope is all it took to keep her tethered. Despite multiple attempts at going solo, in the end the only thing that separated the two was the Joker's death in Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. And all too often, it's the other way around. The tragedy of Harley Quinn isn't that she's weak, it's that she was strong, brilliant, funny and resourceful. The Joker saw that and chose to break her. Harley's story isn't just a warning about toxic relationships and how they can bind, blind and betray. It's a reminder of how easily love can be weaponized and how long it can take to unlearn the lies that come wrapped in roses and punchlines. While Harley Quinn may be one of the Joker's victims, there's more to her than that. She's not just a sidekick, but a force of her own making. She just needs to have the confidence to take the leap and reclaim herself. But in reality, that can be easier said than done. Sometimes the hardest battle isn't surviving the darkness, it's finding the courage to step into the light. Okay, that's it for this week's essay. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tell all your friends about me. You know how YouTube works. If you really enjoyed the video and have the means, please consider making use of the thanks button to send a buck or two my way, because every little helps. I offer channel memberships for $1.99 a month. This will get you early access to my weekly video essay, priority responses to your comments, members-only videos, custom emojis, and an icon on your profile indicating that you're one of my people. And special thanks to my channel members. Everyone who was a member at the time of this video's creation is listed on the screen right now. If you want to see your name amongst all these wonderful people, join the channel now. Next time. I'll be back on Friday to talk about another woman who loved a dangerous man, Grace Lamont, Harvey Dent's former fiancée. I'm going to talk about who she is, what happened to her, and why she disappeared. Then next Monday, it's time to go back to my Beware the Batman poll to talk about the villain that came in second place, the kleptomaniac Magpie. Hope to see you then.